If you think I'm a fraud and a scammer, go fuck yourself, okay? That's as plain as I can make it for you. Fuck you.
ICT will say this video is BS, but what he doesn't want you to know is that he won't take any real action like suing for defamation, because everything you're about to see is 100% true with sources to all evidence. Every single defense of ICT and his trading concepts is thoroughly refuted later on.
I don't need to fake a statement. I don't need to have to do any Photoshop.
Most of you already know that ICT's big multi-million-dollar withdrawal was discovered as being photoshopped because he forgot to add a minus sign to the picture. Not only did ICT adamantly defend this withdrawal as being real and attack those who didn't believe him, but after he was caught, ICT then claimed he did it all as a joke.
I literally left the negative symbol off as a joke.
The man who deleted access to hide his account being down and the same man who photoshopped a withdrawal is here saying he doesn't need to photoshop anything, fake anything, or hide anything.
I've made so much more money teaching than I did trading. I can tell you honestly, you made that algorithm see my name more times than anybody else could have done it. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that, bro. My fucking kids are going to have a nice Christmas just from that alone. $250,000 fucking dollars in YouTube earnings, baby. Okay, and have I made more money teaching in mentorship than I have in live trading? And the answer is yes. I've made millions, millions, and millions, and millions more teaching mentorship. I am really, really rich now.
We'll get more into the Robbins Cup later and how he said he was a fraud if he didn't win right before failing terribly and then saying he did it on purpose. Or maybe I'm mixing up which time he failed which account with which time he said he did it on purpose. Of course, we can't trust him to share a screenshot of broker statements based on his history of photoshopping, although he'd probably mess it up, so go for it. And yes, this is just over half a year of trading from August 3rd, 2015 to February 2016. And as you can see, the total return was minus 97%. The funny thing is that the ICT followers who have been around for a while mostly collectively agree that ICT himself is extremely bad at trading. It's only the new traders who don't know his history that think he's good at his own concepts. Now you might be confused by ICT's constant boasting of calling price to the tick and calling the market every day when you go to his Twitter and only find tweets about fair value gaps 2 hours after they happened, tweets about how he entered a position 9 hours ago, or vague things like, I think the market is going to go down more, which makes him right as long as the market doesn't pivot in that exact moment. And then you go, that's weird. Twitter isn't a broker. Let me go check his YouTube channel for all that real-time live he's always talking about. But all you'll find is information about how to trade price action that already happened.
It was all demo. I've never shown any live trading ever in a live account.
This is why ICT acts like this anytime someone asks him to show a track record of his trades. See, when it comes to avoiding having to show real documents about his long-term trading performance, he wants you to believe that his tweets, callouts, and recorded trades uploaded after they're over is proof of him being amazing at trading. However, when that stops being convenient for him, suddenly tweets, callouts, and individual trades mean nothing, and now third-party audited statements are all that matter. It makes it even funnier to think about the fact that he's failed the Robbins Cup every time and has failed every account he's ever shown, yet somehow walks around challenging anyone who points out stuff that he does that makes him look bad to a trading competition. Just wanted to point out that somehow ICT has created a new term called real-time live, which refers to tweeting and uploading single trades after they're over. On screen are some techniques you would use if you wanted to give the impression that you were good at trading to fool an audience. Oh, what a coincidence. This is what ICT does. If you're wondering why uploading individual trades means nothing, it's because it's the easiest way to trick people. Just only upload the wins. ICT doesn't show the running balance on accounts when he uploads those trades. I wonder why. What could possibly be the reason that every guru shows no verified long-term results and only shows individual trades? And here's a screenshot from a few years ago of him saying he was a fraud and didn't know how to trade if he didn't win, right before failing like he has every other time he's entered. I don't understand ICT's obsession with the Robbins Cup, which is mostly just because he's an extremely talented manipulator, and this makes him look really stupid. He goes around saying Robbins Cup is all that matters and calling trades means nothing in order to get out of situations he put himself in, while also saying, I can call price to the tick, while also saying Robbins Cup means everything, yet he's failed it every time. But I'm thankful that he made this video easy to make. Here's a screenshot of an old ICT mentorship moderator claiming that ICT's Robbins account was down over 60% before it got deleted. And on the right is a great documentation of ego.
I'm just saying my stuff is superior to everybody else's. I have the best tools in trading. I have the best models in trading. And if I'm trading in the optimal time, there is nobody that's going to trade better than me. That's not ego, that's the facts. And I made a multi-million-dollar empire on a fucking demo account.
The greatest trader in the world trades on demo, while claiming he can do it on a live account, but I don't think he can, because a live account has no reset button.
You're a liar, okay? I can take you to my garage, okay, and show you my Audi R8. I can do that. I can show you my 2 Lamborghinis, okay? I can do that. I can show you on a daily basis that you're full of shit, that you have nothing. You say I suck? Prove to me that I suck, because I guarantee you, in 1 week, I'll do more than 10 times what you can earn in pips. So I'm off my soapbox. Balls in your court, bitch. So now let's go over to the charts.
ICT is constantly going on about how great he is for doing everything for free. In fact, it's basically his main selling point now. You're seeing tweets of him mentioning the word free. Some of them aren't relevant, but almost all of them are him alluding to how great of a person he is for doing things for free, and that somehow him doing it for free validates his trading concepts. Sure, the man who made millions and millions of dollars selling a mentorship multiple times while failing trading accounts and having to Photoshop a withdrawal to convince people that he's not the worst trader of all time is a saint because he makes backtesting videos for free. Right, the guy who makes $25,000 a month just in YouTube ad revenue is doing it for free. It's free. He's not charging you anything. You are the product. And watch this video in the top right if you want to learn exactly how much money per 1,000 views trading YouTubers make. Keep in mind that before Michael did his mentorships where he got all his money from, he didn't post videos bragging about his wealth or constantly mentioning how rich he was.
Really, really rich now.
It was only after this that we began to be bombarded by constant bragging tweets, his mansion, his pool, his Corvettes and other vehicles, that big ol' RV, and everything else. Now ICT is currently experiencing the same cognitive dissonance that every ICT follower has felt during this video. Information that doesn't align with your beliefs, causing yucky feelings in the brain. For ICT, this is happening because he portrays himself as a saint for doing everything for free, but selling books would cost money, and now he doesn't know what to do because his brain is going, uh-oh, that would remove my biggest selling point.
Anybody else doing that for fucking free? No. And you know what? I was gonna write books. I have them right now. They're ready to go. But you know what happens if I do that? These same little bits that sit around and talk shit about me. Oh, see, this is where he's getting his next bit of money. No, I don't need to do that. I'm gonna release them for fucking free. So go fuck yourself. Enjoy working the rest of your fucking life. And yes, there ain't a fucking trader alive that can beat me. Period. Talking all that bullshit. Oh, he's making up some dumb shit. Come on, motherfucker. I will light you on fire. One account, third-party audited, a whole year. That's how you know someone can trade better.
Releasing books is an easy way for ICT to make at least $1 million. Let's not forget about the fact that ICT said that some of his mentorship money would go towards charity, which he never did. And he also heard instructions on how to trade from God, but I'll cover that more later. When I set out to pursue my suspicion that ICT was basing everything he teaches about trading through completely invalid and atrocious backtesting, aka hindsight trading, within the first 3 minutes, my mind was blown. On screen are my academic credentials, which thankfully puts me in a great position to obliterate everything that ICT teaches in one fell swoop. This included an entire class dedicated to research methods, and yes, it was as awful as it sounds. I only say this because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to human error in analyzing data. ICT is really good at trading charts that have already happened, but once again, there's a reason he doesn't trade live. Now, this video is from ICT showing you how to find explosive price moves before they happen. This is about having specific criteria for candles in order to determine if the next move will be explosive, and it's using a weekly price chart. The blatant flaws from him you're about to see are consistent through all of his teaching videos, which includes all of his mentorship trading models. So, using that criteria, these are the candles he selected as indications of an explosive move. Looks pretty good, right? I mean, look at that. But what happens when we use ICT's criteria to not exclude the instances where the candle's size didn't result in a big move after? And now we introduce my new nickname for ICT. I had a whole section on new nicknames, but I decided to take it out. But you know he loves his nicknames. I propose we label him as the Maryland Sharpshooter, a reference to a logical fallacy called the Texas Sharpshooter, which is when you cherry pick a data cluster to suit your argument. This is the entire basis of everything he teaches. Now, I used the largest candle that he selected as the maximum size of other candles. So nothing that I highlighted is bigger than his maximum criteria. You'll also notice that when a candle didn't actually predict anything but had another small one after, he extended the highlights to 2 weekly candles. He completely ignored every instance where the candle didn't result in what he wanted to show, even though it matched his criteria, and I have highlighted all of those in pink. Now, in this instance, determining an explosive move is a yes or no outcome, which means the criteria will either work or it will not. What he is teaching here works worse than a coin flip, and ICT is extremely adamant in that he doesn't do 50-50. He does worse than that. Now, what else does ICT do beyond just blatantly horrible backtesting? He also cherry picks a specific moment in time to try and show that what he's teaching works. This is what happens when you use a more adequate sample size to test an idea. And guess what? His 33% success rate on determining a yes or no event drops even lower to 27%. This means that what he's teaching is so incredibly flawed and incorrect that you can actually use what he's teaching to determine the likelihood of something not working. Yes, you heard that correctly. You can use ICT's concepts here with statistical significance to determine that the next candles won't be an explosive move. And guess what? Even if I was wrong on over half of my highlighted examples, it would still be worse than a coin flip. Are you understanding that? And don't forget that ICT said that frauds teach from the left side of the charts, while his entire approach to teaching is based on backtesting. Also, don't forget that every account he's publicly tracked has either been completely blown or finished negative. Now, ICT's selection of data was about a year worth of action up to the date of his recording, but this changes nothing. Going further back shows the concepts working terribly, and showing the action past the uploading of his video gave the same results. There is no possible defense of this beyond logical fallacies, which is what the comments will be filled with. Also, here's ICT confirming everything I've already told you.
That's how I teach my students to backtest. It's not pushing a market replay and watching a trade pan out. That's a walk forward test. That's not what I'm saying. Before you even get there, you got to spend time in old price moves, annotate your charts. You walk out the whole details of what you see through the benefit of hindsight. And you're going to see these recurring things repeat over and over again. And then you'll be confident when you see me tweeting, note this fair value gap here and note this buy side. What am I saying when I do that? Did I say buy the fair value gap and take profits at that buy side liquidity? No.
He literally encourages completely flawed backtesting. I mean, it's insane. And if you aren't with me on that, you will be in 1 sec, because this is how ICT manipulates you. Traders can tweak their strategies to fit historical data perfectly, creating the illusion of profitability. Traders might test multiple variations of a strategy on the same historical data set and then select the one that performs the best. This one fits perfectly because ICT has dozens of concepts to choose from and encourages traders to use variations of them together. Traders may inadvertently curve fit their strategies to historical data by continually adjusting parameters until they achieve impressive results. They learned this one from ICT, who makes slight adjustments to criteria all the time in order to get the data to show what he wants you to see. Traders may consciously or unconsciously cherry-pick data points that align with their desired outcome while neglecting those that do not.
Because that's exactly where the algorithm's going to go. Don't take my word for what I just said. Don't just say, because ICT said it, I believe it. No, go back and look through your charts and you will see what I just said is algorithmically proven to you. It goes on every single week. It happens this way all the time. It does it all the time. It's flawless. It never fails. It's always in the charts. You can set your life around it as a model. This is one way that you can look outside of the AM session and the PM session and go right in there. Once you understand how liquidity works and what you're looking for, that could be your model, your setup.
It's why he teaches through action that's already happened and why he doesn't live stream trades consistently. Live streaming would remove the illusion. They may overlook or downplay contradictory patterns or data, dismissing them as outliers or anomalies. Confirmation bias can be particularly pronounced in group settings where individuals with similar beliefs reinforce each other's views.
But I want the opportunity for him to receive all the glory, all the praise, all the attention. I don't want that. If I wanted it, I'd stay around. I'm at the height, folks. If you think this is all about beating my chest and bragging, this is not bragging. Listen to what I'm about to say. I'm at the biggest I've ever been, and I'm leaving.
That was an audio clip of ICT saying that if he was doing all of this for attention, then he wouldn't be leaving. But since the date of that Twitter Space audio, ICT has already announced that he's coming back. He has done this repeatedly over the years, and he will do it again. He'll make some dramatic tweets about how he's gonna leave, his students get upset, and then he says, "I'll be back."
Why did you leave, babypips?
What the fuck?
Get to the point, bro. Let's go.
One of the moderators, she sent me a notice saying that my ISP has been associated with another, and I don't remember the actual screen she cited, but it was supposedly someone else or supposedly she's saying it was me, and I was sock-puppeting.
ICT was banned from babypips for sock-puppeting, which means a fictitious online identity created for the purposes of deception, aka creating accounts with different names that you secretly control. He said he wouldn't do another paid mentorship. He did. He used to say that he couldn't livestream or show his trades because it would reveal the secret algorithm, but maybe he stopped saying that after people told him how stupid of an excuse that was. He has YouTube comments off, ensuring that his followers are shielded to any doubters, and by doubters I mean people like me pointing out objectively true things that cannot be argued against by anything other than calling me names and saying that I'm doing this for attention. Reminds me of when I exposed the Trading Geek and he turned off YouTube comments. I know I already mentioned this, but ICT acting like a saint and constantly mentioning that you can learn from him for free as he makes $25K a month on YouTube and made millions of dollars off of selling mentorships drives me insane. The only people he's fooling with that one are the new traders who somehow think that free means he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, rather than for YouTube ad revenue, but most importantly, the attention he is so desperate to get from thousands of followers who worship his every word. ICT has also claimed in the past that some of those accounts he failed were on purpose. Yeah, and once again, some people actually believe this. Starting an account, hyping it up about growing it, failing it, and then being like, yeah, I actually did that to teach you very important lessons. No, you... This is one of my favorite ways to summarize ICT concepts. Man, those squares and rectangles on your chart are garbage. You gotta learn about the squares and rectangles that ICT talks about. Those ones work. Okay, time to talk about the algorithm. No matter how many times I read about it, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that people believe this. Also, here's a funny tweet. Social media allows pathological liars to breed like roaches. A bit ironic, right? ICT says that his algorithm, Enigma, is what makes price move. He says that the market doesn't move from buy or sell orders, it's Enigma that moves it. And he says that he created it. It's not even worth getting into the absurdity of that more, because the people who believe that are never going to hear something that changes their mind. And the rest of us are already like, how can anyone possibly believe this? So we are at a stalemate. You cannot reason with irrationality. As Sam KB stated, here's the basis of ICT's recruitment for new beginners. You are a failing trader, then you find ICT who says you're failing because it's rigged. The trader goes, oh no way, that makes sense. Then ICT goes, luckily for you, I know the algorithm that controls price. And then the trader goes, oh wow, thank you so much. And bang, they're hooked for life. His method of luring new traders is literally that the markets are rigged and that he has all the answers. It's not your fault that you're failing. Come over here and I'll teach it for free. He actually said that he holds the grail, as in his concepts are the holy grail of trading. As a community of traders, we collectively agree that there is no holy grail in trading. Nope, ICT actually has it because he coded the market engine of where price goes before banks see it and are allowed to deal with it. What? Now, I really didn't want to include this in the video because I don't want it to take away from the main points, but after learning more about ICT and the things he believes and claims, I have no choice.
I do have a mental illness. I am bipolar. I am obsessively compulsive.
Now, as someone who learned extensively about bipolar disorder during college, since I was going to become a therapist, oh yeah, maybe I should start calling myself your therapist. Kind of a cool little wordplay on ICT's nickname of your mentor's mentor. Either way, I immediately recognized everything ICT was saying as delusions of grandeur, and I personally spent quite a bit of time at a psych ward with a man going through a manic episode, which is the part of bipolar disorder that can cause delusions of grandeur. No, I was there job shadowing an employee. Or maybe that's just what I believe. Huh. I'm not harping on mental illness at all or using it to attack. I'm simply pointing out that believing you coded the algorithm that controls the market and that people will come to your house at night if you reveal too many secrets is the best example of a manic episode I've ever heard. Mania is characterized by delusions that are clearly untrue and far-reaching. The man I spent time with in the psych ward tried to gift me 10 cars he didn't own but believed he did. Pay attention to the part there that says, belief that one has a special relationship with a supernatural entity. Cult leaders, for example, might believe they can communicate with a god or that they are a manifestation of a god on earth. This is where it gets interesting.
I do have a mental illness. I am bipolar. I am obsessively compulsive, and I am not perfect. But God has used this frail man that has very humble beginnings, very, very humble beginnings, and used me to impact so many of you. Being wealthy is insignificant. My wealth is knowing that I've had the privilege to be able to share this with you. But I don't want to take any of the credit. I don't want any of the credit. He's picked me up like a pen, and I've submitted myself to him, and the things that you've learned came from him. That's the truth. That's it. Whether you choose to believe it or not, it matters not to me. If it was somewhere else I got the information from, I promise you, I'd say I got it from there. I got it from that person. I learned it from there. I got this book over here. It came right from him. So yeah, there's a still quiet voice. And yes, I heard it. And it spoke to me a lot in my life. I want to make myself available so I can hear it more often.
Delusions of grandeur is the only way my brain can comprehend someone believing what he does. Maybe it's unrelated, maybe not. I would never attack someone for a mental illness. I'm simply trying to connect some possible dots to explain an absurd situation. I myself went through quite a big phase of depression due to listening to hours and hours of ICT Twitter space videos and reading 2 years worth of his tweets. That's a little thing I like to call a joke, because mental illness is a touchy subject. I have been working on this for 3 months and it is killing me. Here's a screenshot of an alleged member of his mentorship from 2018 claiming that ICT blew 2 accounts during it. It's also true that he had everyone sign NDAs as well as satisfaction agreements to try and make it so nobody could get a refund. I know that, like me, upon seeing this you will think it's not real. But it is. I will now paraphrase a long message sent by ICT a few years ago. I met 2 older gentlemen on August 6th, 1994, and I was interviewed 3 times in person. Their names were Parson and Tobias. They were much older than me then, and they were very interested in how I was running my results in open forum on AOL then. Since those interviews, Parson made it known he regrets it all. And yes, I received threats over the past 25 years. Yes, I have been followed and my family. I have had visits at my homes that aren't listed publicly by them. Do I believe them when they tell me the consequences if I reveal what I know? Yes. When you have to sit with these men multiple times over the past 2 decades, and yes, you'd be scared. Yes, I know what they can do. Yes, I am stopping my mentorship as a result of it. You folks are not aware of the things I know and have seen. Some of you fakes pretend to be woke but are blind to it all. I have lived my life in many online identities and tried to expose what I felt was reasonable. When I got too close to the goal line, I received a call or a visit. I moved, and still they would reach out to me. You don't know the half of it. You don't know fear until you were driven in a car to a location where you were met with several men and things presented as a response for doing what you feel the public deserves to know. Does this make a man a fraud? No, it makes them a sane man. You will likely never experience terror in your heart when you are accompanied by people who never speak and you are sat in the circle of them and are warned. Words don't reach far enough. This is why I call myself Inner Circle Trader. My logo is a fib sequence applied to circles that was the passcode to enter the offices I was taken to. I was not permitted to see the way to it and I had to ride in the back of a closed van without windows. So when you see people utter the words smart money, they haven't the faintest idea what they are talking about. Now you know who they are and why you will never beat them. So either this is delusions of grandeur from his self-admitted diagnosis of bipolar disorder, or this is some narcissistic attempt at manipulation, or I don't know, just a big problem with lying. Whatever the answer is, it's quite shocking. But either way, if you want to start a cult, this is the kind of stuff you have to do. ICT is extremely clever in the way he speaks, and he has been manipulating the reaction to him for a long time. He knows what he's doing most of the time, but don't take it from me. Here's ICT saying it himself.
All I got to do is do what it is I do, and people are going to flock there. I know how to start a fire, a dumpster fire. I know how to cause a spectacle. I can bring controversy. I can twist the knife and get trolls chattering.
I can get people pissed off at me. I can win them back. I can start someone on the path and they'll think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread.
He has followed the rules and done exactly what you're supposed to do if you want to build an audience of loyal members who practically worship you. But, you see, subtle manipulation with carefully selected words stops being so subtle when you collect every tweet of its mention, and then you start to see the genius of his evil little brain with lots of manipulation ripples. Truth. The longer you wait, you will see I have told you nothing but the facts. You will hear fanciful excuses, but you know the truth and have since I told you. Beneath the distractions of retail indicators exists the unrivaled truth. Smile, you know the truth. The truth may be inconvenient, but it's still the truth. That's an interesting one. I wonder if ICT will smile when he watches this video, since this is all the truth. Nothing is random in price delivery. If you don't know, don't assume everyone else should subscribe to ignorance right along with you. The truth is here. What context? The truth. Why did I take this trade? How come I did that? Easy. The truth, idiot. Behold, the reality and power of the truth. Instead of arm wrestling the truth and denying the power of knowing it does have a puppeteer, align yourself with it. AKA, don't question anything, just believe everything I'm saying. I'm sorry if the truth is inconvenient for you. Hey, that one sounds familiar. When you spend your life on one side of a two-way mirror, convinced you see the truth, it is understandable to feel empowered. However, you don't know who is looking at you in reality. I prove my concepts and my prowess is superior and without making up lies. Well, what I showed was ample evidence of superior insight. There is a small fraction who refuse to accept it and how superior it is, electing to use retail theories and antiquated concepts. There has been nothing like what you learn here, ever taught by anyone else before me. Deny them. They will say anything, make up anything to distract you from learning this. Deny them. Stop placing faith in useless things. You deny the evidence? Still, doubt is discouraged. Liars and the uninitiated are the only people who would see it as anything but wisdom. If you spend time and energy fighting people who clearly show you they aren't on board with your views, you will waste time. Literally encouraging you to not engage with anyone who doubts ICT concepts, creating an us versus them mentality. Oh, I see you are lazy. No capacity to understand charts. Move on, this is too much meat. Scared? Pee your pants? I detail everything for people like you to make a change from the ignorant, miserable specimen you exhibit here. This is one of my personal favorites because people are constantly talking about how 1 hour worth of ICT videos could just easily be shortened to a couple minutes of useful information, and ICT is clearly very sensitive about that topic. So, instead of adjusting his own behavior because he's perfect, he lashes out at anyone who complains about all the nonsense he talks about.
You already turned off this Twitter space because it ain't telling you what you want to hear. Good. Get the fuck out of here.
Weaklings are not capable of sustaining the pace of showing up daily. If you were lazy or not overly concerned with the relevant details I made this week, you will drown in what I have coming next Tuesday and thereafter. Time to level up your note-taking and roll your sleeves up, folks. Funny how God uses the most unlikely of people. What if you asked God to open your eyes and then you heard instructions that worked? Oh man. How many people are even left watching this video? There's just so much stuff to cover that it's not even entertaining. What would a cult leader say to people who call it a cult, ICT? Ah, yes. The real cult is the haters. Brilliant. Throw it right back at them. Hey ICT, how come you've never successfully traded an account long term? And then he's like, yup, just another hater trying to stop you from learning the truth. Deny them. All of these quotes clearly demonstrate the criteria for a cult with ICT as its leader. Questioning of ICT and his concepts is discouraged. They believe that they are elite and above other traders and call it smart money concepts. And let's acknowledge Michael's full online name, Inner Circle Trader. Inner Circle. Us versus them is literally implied in his name. He shames people who don't want to sit through his videos where members are expected to devote inordinate amounts of time. Watch what happens when this video goes out. Check Twitter. Check the comments for the ones I don't ban for being entirely unreasonable and out of control, and watch how ICT responds. The funny thing is that many of his members will actually devote themselves even more to ICT, and here's why.
And you become part of our community. You're now part of this hive mentality. We're winning. We're the cult of winning, okay? If you got a problem with that, get the fuck out of here. We don't mess around with people that don't want to do the right shit, okay? You want to make money, you want to learn how to read these markets and know exactly what's going on, you are in the right place. I'm not asking you for a dime. You ain't got to do anything but show up, take notes, and repeat that same thing every single week. And I promise you, come November, you're a fucking savage, okay? You're going to know exactly what you're going to do. And if I collected half a dozen of you or a dozen of you, and say, okay, come together right now. What do you trade? How do you trade? It's not going to be an agreement, but you're all going to be profitable. Independent mindsets looking for very specific things that are algorithmic. They repeat. They're time and price based premise. These things are going to repeat because there is a fucking algorithm, because it's coded. It's going to do this shit because it's supposed to do it.
Time to talk about ICT concepts, and I already know that I'm going to have to link this section to a ton of people who leave comments that just make me shake my head, take a deep breath, and tell myself that I can't help everybody. So, I've proven to you that he teaches you through completely flawed backtesting that only works because he selects the instances where it works and excludes the instances where it doesn't. This is not an opinion, I proved it to you and did my best to incorporate a bit of proper research methods criteria without boring you to death. We already know that ICT himself can't trade his own concepts, but we've already covered that. So, we're just talking about the concepts themselves. No, I don't think all of ICT is fair value gaps. No, I don't think that fair value gaps are the only thing. It's just the subject we'll stick to for the rest of the world who doesn't know all 800 of ICT's models. Now, I spoke to a very prominent, generous, and kind member of the ICT community about this screenshot here with a simple question. Is this indicator following ICT's criteria? And I got an excellent response. The problem with the indicators is that they label every instance of the criteria being hit. This means the indicators are accurate, but that's where it gets tricky. It's too accurate. Because of this, it eliminates the factor that allows for the possibility of profitability trading ICT concepts, and that factor is discretion. Discretion is the unquantifiable aspects of trading, like narrative, context, overall feel, or whichever term you like to use. You know how to label the various models on the chart, but you have to pick and choose which ones to label in order to be consistently profitable. We agree on that. I believe ICT talks about how experience and practice is the only way to make it work for you with your own choice of models to use. So, we're all in agreement. What you have agreed to is that the concepts don't work on their own. They need the human aspect to make work. This makes ICT concepts no different from basic support and resistance, supply and demand, moving averages, and every other system. Smart money concepts are just a lens to see price action through. The boxes you draw on the chart have no actual influence or long-term consistent predictive power, because you'd code it and automate it if it did. But there's nothing wrong with that. This is the beautiful thing about trading. All of us are learning the same thing, price action. Where are those candles gonna go? That's it. But we all differ in the approach we take to learning the same common denominator. If you want to think of price action as how a bank would be trading it, great. If you want to think of price action in relation to a combination of indicators and how it interacts, great. But don't for a second fool yourself into thinking that it's the indicators or rectangles on your chart that are going to make you profitable. One of the defenses of smart money / ICT concepts goes something like this. I've been trading SMC for 8 months, and while there was a big learning curve in the beginning, I'm now starting to see some good results. Replace SMC with literally any trading system that exists, and you'll get the same answer from almost every trader. Those tools you use are a perspective to see price action through. You finally start trading well, and then you think it's the tools that made you better at trading instead of all the lessons you learned along the way. The only issue here is that the ICT community is the only group with a reputation of thinking they're better than everyone, and many of the members who don't understand how markets work have that gap in their knowledge filled in by a guy who claims to have coded the algorithm that controls how markets move. You have no proof that you're trading like banks and hedge funds. So let's tone down the ego that has been passed on to you by a narcissistic, egotistical cult leader who has admitted through an audio clip played earlier that he knows exactly how to play people. No matter how many lines you draw on the chart, no matter how many SMC concepts you use, indicators, market auction theory, order flow tools, or anything else, you will never ever be able to know the motives of thousands of different market participants of varying degrees of influence, all taking trades for unique reasons. You'll never know why price moved. You can only guess. That is what the ICT community doesn't fundamentally understand, because they don't understand what makes a market function. It's not a master algorithm that controls everything, no matter how many times ICT comes up with a ridiculous story. Now here's some actual science, rather than a conspiracy theory built on a story about having a bag put over your head and transported to a secret office where you learn secrets about what's truly controlling the market. But let's get something clear here. Either the instructions on how to trade ICT/SMC are clear enough to be coded into an algorithm and automated, or they're vague enough that discretion is what truly makes them work. This means the system is no more predictive than triangles and weather patterns, or you're being given instructions for an algorithm. If it doesn't work as an algorithm, as demonstrated by the indicators being literally too accurate to work on their own because they plot every instance rather than ones chosen by the trader's discretion, then discretion is the true path to profitability, and those tools mean nothing by themselves. This also means ICT is full of shit, but we've already clearly demonstrated that in this video. So what actually is discretion? Luckily for you, I actually know this one because of my psychology background. The brain learns and builds memory through two primary methods that encompass all other subgenres: explicit and implicit. Explicit is intentional memorization, like your rules about trading. For me, this is memorizing the price action types I'm bad at, remembering to look at the reminders during the session, and other stuff, like when you're studying information for a test. Implicit memory is like learning to play an instrument. There are no amount of instructions or studying on paper that can instantly make you play Moonlight Sonata at 2x speed. You get better at instruments by playing them for thousands of hours, building up that implicit memory. Discretionary trading is almost entirely implicit memory, and implicit memory is what builds intuition. This separation in intuition is why the beginning ICT student is bad and why the person who's been doing it for 2 years actually has some success. Is that clear? This is the scientific explanation for the previous section. This is all I can do. Now it's up to you whether or not you want to accept what's true. Let's talk about those quote-unquote profitable traders on ICT's YouTube channel. ICT is relying on cognitive biases and the errors of the human brain to give you the misconception that there's just thousands of profitable ICT traders out there. When you can easily recall instances of something, you think it's happening more often than it really is. This is why you think airplanes are more dangerous than cars. This narrative is also pushed by the fact that he's constantly talking about how he makes profitable traders on Twitter. Instead of using actual data to determine how many profitable traders there are, you say it works because you can recall a story of a few, but there's a much bigger problem here. There are way too many traders that don't understand that short-term returns in trading means nothing. This is your job, right? You plan to do this for the rest of your life. 1 month means nothing long-term. If you can keep that up for a long time, then you can call yourself consistently profitable. I forget his name, but there's a guy that ICT traders reference to as proof of the concept's working because he passed an evaluation and then admitted it was like his 20th attempt. Great job trading those 2 weeks. Now let's see those returns for a whole year. 6 months, 5 months, 4 months. If you can do that, you've made it, and now you just need to maintain. And that's awesome, but don't fool yourself into thinking that passing an evaluation means you're consistently profitable. There's a lot more work ahead. I can show you examples of it working. This demonstrates a failure to recognize the difference between single examples and actual consistent profitability. Single examples mean nothing. I can show you many examples of my cat meowing as a buy signal and it working, but it means nothing. Consistency is all that matters. He's made me better at trading. I'm not trying to be mean here, but there's no other way to put it. Your overall results from trading don't agree with that. All you've done is the same amount of learning you would have done on any type of system that exists, because you were just learning price action the whole time and then falsely attributing progress to lines and rectangles. Nobody made you better at trading. You made you better at trading. It's you. You are the key that makes non-working systems work. Regardless of what your uneducated psychoanalysis of my motives for making this video is, it changes nothing. Everything we've covered is still true. Hey man, you did this for attention. That changes nothing. It's all true. It only makes you feel better because you were upset by facts that didn't align with the beliefs you refused to change for whatever reason. In the absence of a sound argument, people rely on insults. Some of you might be wondering why I'm wasting my time with this section, and here's your answer. Okay, so you finally prove he's a scam, then what do you get? Satisfaction? Some of you need mental health checkups. Your life priorities are misplaced. Your family is damaged, man. This is what we're fighting against. So strap in. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Thinking something is valid because it's popular is not, it's not a thing. It's not real. This right here is what will happen due to being offended at facts and having no actual rebuttal. Both ICT and his followers will commit these errors in reasoning. Appeal to emotion is ICT's best friend because, as we discussed earlier, taking advantage of the errors of the human brain is how he operates in place of real results and information. Here's an example of what ICT says as a way to dismiss valid criticisms or objectively true information that makes him look bad. Thank you so much to my patrons who have been aware of my descent into insanity trying to finish this video. Unfortunately for me, ICT just can't stop incriminating himself, so this took a long time to make. My Patreon has no secrets to profitability or anything else. It's just a way of supporting me if you want to see all of these fraudsters be held accountable. I sell nothing and never will. Everything I do is free, which ICT can't say. Alright, let's never do this again. That took way too long.
And these jokers out there that are trying to discourage you, smear my name. They're jealous, they're envious because I'm showing you something that nobody's ever touched on before. And I'm proving it every day on a 1 minute by minute basis, which is I can do it on a 15-second chart if you want. We can do that. Fuck it, I'm going to do it too. I'm going to do that. And you'll see. There's no fucking way anybody can argue that there isn't an algorithm in these markets that deliver price. And it's all 100% controlled. And there's no reason to be upset about that. You see these jokers out there on CNBC, they say, oh, well, the markets have transformed into these untradeable environments and there's no liquidity out there now because the algorithms absorb it all. The algorithms are causing all the problems we have. Get the fuck out of here. Listen, folks, listen closely. As soon as the markets became electronic, they have started at that moment to be delivered by an algorithm. That means it's all scripted. It's just like WWE wrestling. The outcome is already predetermined. And I know that chaps a lot of people's asses, especially the ones that work at financial institutions, brokerage firms, banks. I used to be a trader at Barclays. And we look at all of you retail traders and we laugh because our candles have these things inside of it. Look at this. Come and learn from me. Bullshit. Bullshit. You're showing results, even with the MyFX book, and it's that little bit Mickey Mouse money, and you're thinking that's a big deal to talk about where you came from as Barclays. Barclays don't know shit. I'm out here teaching technical science. Okay, this is the real shit. This is the real to the degree of precision that you cannot see anywhere else. There is a fucking algorithm, and it's been there since we have had electronic trading beginning. And before that, when it was all open outcry, those open outcry traders were trading in a price feed that they looked up at that board. That board told them what? This is where we're at. So what are they trading? They're not making the fucking market. They're trading in the market that's being made for them. When you listen to these people say, I was a former or I am a market maker at this trading desk at this firm, you are not making the motherfucking market. You are not making a fucking thing. You're making a list of transactions that you were counterparty to. But guess what? That data, that feed, that price that you're doing it at, it's being piped into you. You can't make up your own fucking price. You can't go outside the bid and ask, motherfucker. That's not making a market. You are dealing. You are a dealer. I am aware of what you believe a market maker is. They got to be delta neutral. They don't care. They're just trying to provide liquidity. I'm telling you where price is going to go. They have no fucking idea where it's going. I'm telling you a day before, a week before, a month before, where the fuck it's going. I'm telling you to every minute by minute increment where it's going to fucking go. I'm fucking making these fucking markets, motherfuckers. I'm telling you right now, you need to wake the fuck up. We're no longer in Kansas, Alice. Alice? Did I say that right? Dorothy, motherfucker. Get it right. I'm thinking Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. You got people out there saying, oh, if ICT was so good at trading, his own kid doesn't even want to trade. Doesn't that tell you something? No, it just tells you she's a woman that's very stubborn. Okay, that's all it is. She's stubborn. She doesn't want to do it. Okay, you can't make her. Husbands, you can't make them do what you want them to fucking do. So stop trying. And for 3 fucking decades, I have watched this stuff happen every single week that goes by. It's happening all the time, and it's never going to change. It's never going to stop working. It's never going to be reprogrammed. It's never going to be changed. It's never going to be made obsolete. So stop worrying about it. Use it. If it would have been tainted by me teaching it, my flesh would have kept me from teaching it. I'm promising you that. I'm promising you that I would have never shared that. If I believed in my heart, it would change. Greed, selfishness would have kept it. Can you just respect the fact that I'm being that honest with you? You keep asking me these things. Stop. If I'm teaching it, it's going to keep working. There you go. The stuff that I won't teach, it's not for the public. It's too good. And you probably look at this saying, what the hell? Yeah. Next level shit. Next level shit.